All right, 330 Club's back for 2025. Holiday break's over. I got my cool Mo with me. What's going on?
What's up, Camille? It's
Hey,
good to be on here. I really
yeah.
appreciate it
No, I'm glad you had time to do it. Like, this is cool. We're gonna chop it up a little bit and we'll see where it takes us.
for sure.
What you been up to?
So, just celebrated Orthodox Christmas, which I know you celebrate as well.
Yes.
So, as we would say, Mir Boži,
Yeah.
Christos Erodi.
Vaistino Sorodi. Very
So,
good.
yeah, I think one thing that'd be cool to talk about is, Serbia, the country, and the culture, and kind of how we made it over here, our families, and how then that linked us up together.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we could do it though. But
yeah.
so yeah, I've been celebrating Christmas, but other than that, I work in the golf industry, so been doing a lot of that. But took a break over the winter time to kind of learn some different skills. I'm doing some stuff with general contracting, um, so fixing up some houses. Hopefully, uh, take those skills over when I get my own house or do something along those lines. In terms of investments. So that's something that I've been learning over the winter time. And then got an electronic drum kit. So getting back into drumming,
Yes.
which is really exciting. And playing some competitive sports video games with your brother
Yeah.
and helping out with my one buddy's lifestyle golf brand, Putts, which is actually getting some traction on the PGA Tour, which is pretty cool.
That
And
is cool, actually. That's really cool.
yeah, a lot of sports and music, which has been my life for most of my life. And other than that, just here right now. So,
Yeah, you got your hands on a little bit of everything right now.
yeah. How about you? What's
Yeah,
going on?
working, doing a lot of music, got a lot of music teed up for 2025. I'm excited about that. Um, and trying to do some more different things, like you said. Like I think getting into like contracting and things like that is actually really helpful.
Yeah, and I like working with my hands, being that I like drumming too.
So
I know you play guitar, so to learn skills like that and kind of just do simple math, but keep your brain working in different ways. It's been cool. Been collecting some Milwaukee tools.
oh yeah,
So I
same.
found a brand of tools. That's kind of what I guess you do in this industry. Like you can't really mix them up because of the batteries, which I guess translates to other things. But
No, that's true. I learned that recently as well. I've been going to the hardware store a lot, and I'm turning into an old guy. That's what's happening.
yeah, it's
You know?
funny. I got a couple saws. I got a jigsaw, a circular saw. I'm looking to get a miter saw this year. Just doing a lot of stuff. So I've been working downtown Pittsburgh, fixing
Downtown.
up some houses and mingling with the people. Speaking of downtown Pittsburgh,
Oh,
I see the flag back there.
you do. I got the pens on.
Yes.
They kind of stink, but whatever.
Yeah. So that's really cool. That's the actual city flag, though,
Yeah,
with the
that's the city
crest.
flag. You can kind of see it in my rear view here. I got another microphone and some guitars. Um, well, I bought that obviously because of my dad and my family on that side, and you guys, Yins, being from Pittsburgh. You guys is a very Midwestern thing. We don't say y'all. Like south of where I am in Indiana, they start to say y'all, and it's really weird. That sounds weird to me.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I do like or I guess it's the Chicago like Great Lakes accent.
yeah.
Definitely a little different, but like if we were to say like, I'm trying to think of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like
So
I
like
feel like that's how you would say we're, oh my gosh.
it's weird. I have this weird. I'm kind of a standard like Midwest, and then I pick stuff up from my old man. So like today it was snowing really pretty hard by us, and I said, "Oh, it's coming down," and someone laughed at me, but I'm like, "Oh, it's just something my tot would say."
Yeah.
But when I worked in Chicago a lot, Chicago, like proper, like I was working at Bears games and stuff, people would be like, "Hey, do you have a bag so I can carry this out to the car?" Like shit like that. And I'm just like, they sound like the super fans on Saturday Night Live. Like that's exactly what they talk like.
That's pretty good.
So
You
I
got
don't
that.
I don't have that deep. I'm not that deep, you
Yeah.
know. But
There's this guy on TikTok. His name's Joe Long Don. And I think I've sent you a couple of
you
him
probably have.
in the meme shares. But he's really catching some traction on TikTok, like globally, just because he does a perfect Pittsburghese accent, and he's actually a really cool guy to check out. He likes some hardcore metal as well. So
That's cool. I should follow him on TikTok because I love so like some of those people who do Pittsburgh videos are kind of like cheesy. Like I know if it's too fake just because of, being around and like my dad and everything. So some of them are like okay, whatever, but some are really good.
yeah, so this
Uh
guy's like the real deal. He lives down Brookline, and he
okay, so he's always down at Giant Eagle and all that.
yeah,
And
and his
at
characters are Donnie and Deb.
oh, they're the guys that did the when Jagoff was in the dictionary, right?
I'm not sure if I
I
saw that
think he's like, hey, Donnie, did you hear Jagoff's in the dictionary? Nah,
one.
it's a
Is
real
is it
word.
actually?
Yeah, there's a
I
video.
didn't know that.
I don't know, but they did a video about it.
No way.
It's funny.
I'm
Like
looking that up.
Jag is like, I've become associated with a lot of that stuff. I mean, you see the back of my car, so like somebody at work's like, you should get Jagoff on your license plate.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, it just means like jerk off.
Yeah, but we also use it
Uh,
affectionately.
yeah. So it looks like, yeah, Oxford Dictionary, that was 7 years ago. Dang. Just
Yeah,
that.
so that video is on YouTube. It's like, um, the exact account you were talking about, they did a video when Jagoff got put in the dictionary.
That's beautiful.
So
Should have
yeah,
waved our terrible towels for that.
well, that's about the only thing we can waive them for.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that for a little?
Yeah, we can get it out of our system. They stink.
Pour one out.
Yeah, I know. I gotta look
I'm not
for it.
pouring it on my laptop, but
No, no, don't do that.
man, that's why I'm wearing this hat. At least this team won today.
Yeah, that's actually good for you because I know they've been up and down a little bit, but
Well, you know what they did, Mel? They got a new head coach.
yeah, well, to be fair, in the Prem, that's like everybody does that all the time these days. Not back in the day in the Prem, but now.
Yeah.
A lot of it times it's like the same. Like there's like six coaches that'll float around, but like the Steelers, I was like really looking into this. I think that they literally, if they, which they probably will, if they continue to go like 500 and either miss the playoffs or like get blown out, they'll probably just let Tomlin's contract ride out, and then Art's probably going to be like, all right, well, we're not resigning him, and I'm stepping down, and Danny's in charge because they just have no balls to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that that's the case, but I feel like the same thing is going to happen. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to Tomlin did his news conference
I
today.
listened to half of it on my lunch, and then I also was watching Twitter.
Yeah. And he basically said that it's a mixture of things. He's not blaming one side of the ball or anything. And basically, I think we'll be in the same place next year. And we talked about this. Like, I'm just not getting invested next year. It's going to be 7 straight years of the same insanity. Starting
Yeah,
off the season hot, ending up going down the tubes, and then going to the playoffs and getting absolutely your doors beaten off. Like I think I was
yeah,
reading somewhere their last 6 playoff games, they've gotten outscored 82-0 in the first quarter, something like
brutal,
that.
maybe worse.
So they don't come out ready to play. People
Mm-mm.
say he overachieves with his players. He's the one that handpicks every single player on the team. So I've always liked the guy. I've always been a supporter, but I think it's time
Yeah,
for a change
and,
there.
and the thing too is like it could be a case of like if you had an MVP type quarterback, then like maybe does it again, but because he had Ben and we saw that. But the problem is they don't have a quarterback either.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario is they get rid of Wilson there,
And
I think.
Seinfeld's,
Let Fields play. If he does well, then you might have a guy. If he doesn't, hopefully they really stink,
yeah,
and then they can get a higher draft pick, or just I don't think there's a good quarterback in this draft. So
mm-mm. Unless it's
I
somebody
don't
who's
want
like
Deion's
unknown.
son, honestly.
Oh,
I hope he goes to the Cowboys with Deion. That'd
it'd
be
be perfect.
hilarious.
Yeah, they can suck it up down there.
But
Yeah, I'm with you, Colm. I think you gotta sign Fields even as a bridge guy if he doesn't work out. He's not going to cost as much as because first of all, even if Wilson was okay, he's 37 and is going to want like $30 million. There's no way. And also, I think long term, they just got to hit in the draft. Like,
Yeah, they need to relate. I mean, they need someone else to be making those calls because clearly they're making the wrong ones. So
yeah. Well, and like, besides Pickett, they didn't take any legitimate, like, not that he was legitimate, but like, they didn't take anybody to be a starter. Like, Rudolph was drafted, what, like the third round?
yeah, and I mean,
He's
could have
whatever.
stuck with him and then maybe seen what happened there. But he's just been tossed around so much. I think he's cooked.
Yeah, and whatever. But I just mean like I'm thinking like Landry Jones, like these guys that they would draft were just backups.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had Ben,
So
you know,
yeah,
our goat.
but like yeah, he really. I think Ben should be more appreciated than he is. Um, but like I'm looking at like Green Bay and like they have their guys sit and then they have the guy ready to go. Now, granted, they just got their ass kicked too, but that's besides the point. I just mean as far as having a quarterback.
Yeah. And we aren't Green Bay. I mean, we're the Stillers.
No, I know, but I just mean like it wouldn't have been a bad idea to draft a quarterback to sit behind Ben for a while that they thought might become the starter.
Yeah. I think that might be a knock at Ben because I don't know if
Sure.
he would have taken that well. And one good thing that I guess Tomlin did was kind of let Ben do his thing on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they didn't have any fucking coordinators since Todd Haley left.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. That would have been awesome if, you know, we had some first round pick that got to learn for him for 3 years and then was just ready. And then that rebuilding stuff was more so drafting talent around him, which they then spent
Yeah.
on what seems like shitty offensive linemen and a hometown college hero who really couldn't make it in the NFL.
Not yeah, and then it's like to make Pickett even worse, they paired him with Matt Canada. So it's like it wasn't just that we had like not a legit NFL quarterback, but we didn't have a coordinator either. So you're watching them, and it's like the only one thing that's weird. I just want to throw this out there. The last 2 years before this season, they started running the ball better. Like the line was like run blocking pretty good.
Yeah.
They did not do that this year.
No, they totally regressed. And that, I mean, Najee Harris too. Sometimes
Yeah,
he looks like he's
he's
running in jeans out there. Like sometimes he looks good, but
black
I'm like,
black forces and
I
jeans.
just don't get it, man.
I don't either. There's been
I
flashes.
can't blame the line for him moving like that. Like,
No. But like even like they stopped handing it off to Warren, and I didn't get that because he's pretty good. He's quick. He's got that burst where if he breaks one hole, he'll usually pick up some yards. And I think that's like the problem is like you said, they're not ready. They don't come out ready to play, and then they dig themselves a hole, and then they're fighting the scoreboard and the clock.
yeah,
You can't win games like that.
no, they just that's just coaching, and
And if you
just
look at the
not
game,
enough coaches. All these other teams have like 7 different analysts and assistant
yeah,
running back coaches, and
legitimate coordinators.
yeah, dudes that tell them when to throw a challenge flag, which we haven't seen one since I don't even know before COVID, probably.
Well, and also too, like I argue this. A lot of times people go, "Oh, Tomlin won with Cowher's team," and I go, "Not that's fine, but also Dick LeBeau was calling defenses. That's a huge difference from Tomlin calling the defense. Like we were doing the same '90s zone blitz, Blitzburg shit, and I'm like, you have all these pass rushers. Why aren't you doing that?
Just afraid to screw up.
Send the fucking house. Who cares?" Lamar cooked them.
Yeah. So speaking of that, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I don't know. So like I kind of like Detroit, but also we'll see what happens if they can win this next week. I like the Bills, kind of.
I can see that.
It's tough. Ravens are good, Chiefs are good,
Yeah.
Philly's good.
I'm going to go with, at least for the Super Bowl, the Lions and the Ravens. And not even because they beat the Steelers, because that's
No, they're just good.
they beat a lousy team there. But I just don't see anyone stopping. Like in crunch time, Lamar and Derrick Henry is disturbing.
It
They didn't
is.
even have their top wide receiver in this last game. Like,
They need him.
I love Lamar. Like, unfortunately, there's not many players for any of these teams in the AFC North I've ever said I really liked, but I love Lamar Jackson. Like, he is hard not to enjoy to watch, man.
He's a great player. If he played anywhere else, I'd probably feel. I mean, I still think he's a great player, but like I would probably feel more enamored with him.
Yeah.
It's just hard when it's weird. You get him shoved up your ass all the time, and you get why. But then for most of his career, he either got beat by the Steelers or was hurt when they played.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, it didn't really affect us, his winning at all. So
It's
maybe
weird.
that's why I've been a fan of him. You're right. That's a good point.
Because the one game he won before these last two, it was in overtime, and it was against Duck Hodges when Mason got fucking knocked out. Like, he took that shot to the chin and was never the same after that year. So,
that was when they took his face mask off and he looked like
yeah. He got
the
killed.
dude from the Jetsons.
Oh, my God. That was crazy. I remember watching that game specifically because we were like, who the fuck is Duck Hodges?
Ducky.
And then he went into overtime. He's got to be like the most beloved Steeler player that really wasn't good.
Yeah, now look at him. He's with Blaney Wilson. Just
good for
living
him.
Life.
But yeah, I could see the Ravens. Yeah, I should go grab. I had towels up there. That I don't know. I think there's too many problems to sit here and break down in one podcast. Like obviously the coach, but then it's like even if they switch the coach right now, it's like okay, well they still got to figure the quarterback out. That's a big problem.
Yeah, I think my main thing, and I think it's something that we were talking about in our post-loss chat where it's a safe space for us.
No kidding.
That it's just like not investing next year until we see a change. Like,
right. I'm gonna watch the games
paying for merch, making an effort to get the red zone or the ticket and get to every game.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch on TV and I'll root for them to win because that's in my heart. But like, no money, until they win in the playoffs. Until they show me they got to either win a playoff game convincingly, like that, not like fluky or whatever, not against a shit 7 seed or whatever, or they have to do something to make me be like, okay, like they actually give a shit, because I don't think they give a shit. They put their heads in the sand every offseason when they lose.
Yeah, it's not that we need a Super Bowl. We just want to see like a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. Like they say that and they're not.
No,
they're just trying to eat up the bottom feeders. But I think. I don't know. You done on the Steelers because
I got one last
way too long on this.
I got one last thing. What's crazy as hell to me is how they get the fucking brakes beat off of them every playoff game, the last 6 games or whatever. And then the media, TJ's out there being like, I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to leave. Russ is like, I want to be a Steeler again. I'm like, what the hell is the kind of Stockholm syndrome is this?
I don't know, man.
I love TJ Watt. Don't get me wrong. But like, if I was him, I'd be like, get me the hell out of here. I need a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I can only relate to things I've done. And if you're comfortable doing something, you don't get in trouble and you can get away with stuff, you might want to keep doing it. So
I guess. But TJ is not part of the problem either.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I guess the only thing that'll be interesting before the season is the draft and the quarterback thing.
Yeah, there'll be, definitely stuff to pay attention to and give us something to look at, but
I'm just hoping we win
I'm
some
not getting
bets.
my hopes up at all, that's for sure.
I want to hit some parlays.
There you go.
So, yeah, I guess for anybody, and, we could talk about us too, and like, our background. A lot of people probably who know me personally know that I grew up a Steeler fan.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny, like our dads were going to Pitt Stadium.
Which does not exist.
No. Then at that time, they were worse than they are now.
Yeah, they had a good stretch. With Marino and Dorsett and those guys.
Well, I just mean what the Steelers were playing there.
Oh, yeah.
That's like That's like pre, like Chuck Noll.
Yeah. They must have been young then, because that was like what?
Yeah,
before the 70s.
Yeah, it was 68, 69, because, but our dads were in Southside and Oakland's not far,
No, you could take a lot of, like, I think they might have had a trolley then, but there's a
probably.
Birmingham Bridge there too,
Because my dad,
right
my
across the river and
grandfather,
that.
yeah, my grandfather was at Forbes Field watching the Buccos all the time when they were winning.
That's awesome.
So I mean,
So
you
yeah,
know,
you want to say, like, I guess I don't really know when your family came from Serbia to Pittsburgh or to the United States,
it's kind of at
but
different
I know the story
times.
from there.
Yeah, like well, my grandma, my baba on my dad's side, she was born here.
Okay.
So I think that
Connie.
like I think some of her siblings might have been born over there, and then they came here, and she was born here in Johnstown. But my dad that came, he was in a monastery and had to stop, go fight the war, and then go back for like he did 3.5 years, had to stop for the war, and they said, sorry, you got to go 4 years again, like seminary and all that.
So he was part of that Chetnik immigration then in
Yeah,
like the
and
late 40s.
yeah, pretty much. And then because I know my dad was born in '58, and he's the second oldest, so they were in by the '50s. They were in Pittsburgh.
In the South Side.
Yeah, in Southside, and they were well. The church was in Southside. Was it Fifth and Carson?
I'm not
Somewhere
sure,
down
but
there. And then obviously they moved, and my dad went to Baldwin.
yeah,
That's because they lived by Holy Trinity. So his house is like really close to Holy Trinity, like their old house.
that makes sense.
And then there was like whatever I don't know what it is now, but there used to be a taco hut that he worked at that was like across the street.
I've heard about that down on 51. I
Yeah,
think it's still open, but I'm not sure.
it's like a donut place or some shit. I saw it when I was there last time.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
so yeah, so they were there, and then he came here. Everybody came here in like the '80s.
Because so your grandpa had to move churches, or
Yeah,
he got
basically,
assigned a different church.
yeah, he basically got assigned to a different church, and then my dad finished. He went to Point Park, so he had graduated college at Point Park, but then he did his like embalming school in Chicago, and then I think like some of his siblings finished school and then moved here, but my streets, George was like in high school, so he had to finish high school in Illinois. The rest of them like finished up college and then moved here.
And yeah,
So
so your aunts finished high school at Baldwin as well.
I, I guess they would have all went to Baldwin, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's pretty good ties there, and it's funny. Like people ask me, like, "Oh, you're a Steeler fan?" Yeah, my dad's from there, and you know, I say I have family and friends there. I go visit a lot. Oh, what part of Pennsylvania is he from? I'm like Pittsburgh, and they're like, well, like what part of Pennsylvania though? And I'm like, no, like he's from Southside in Pittsburgh, like the city of like people don't get that because people out here will be like, oh, I'm a Steeler fan, I'm from there, and I'm like, where? And they're like Steubenville, and I'm like, that's not Pittsburgh.
That's not even in
That's
Pennsylvania.
what I'm saying, and people say that shit. I'm like,
Although it is closer than parts of Pennsylvania where
well,
people say
right,
they're from Pittsburgh.
well, right. Like I have friends I actually have friends from State College,
Okay.
and they're like, I met him from playing music, and one of my buddies, he's like, obviously, he went to Penn State, he's a big Penn State fan, but then he's like a Steeler fan, Buccos, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're kind of more to the west, then you're going to be Pittsburgh, east, and closer to New York's all Philly. I don't think people understand how the geography in Pennsylvania.
No. So I guess I could break it down that it's like there's Pittsburgh and there's a little section by Lake Erie that's Erie, which is, I guess, kind of like a city. And then everything in between that is like mountainous, very rural. Then we got some Amish once you get like to the middle,
Yeah, for
which is
sure.
kind of
Like it's
crazy.
like where August Burns Red, the area they're from, is like all like Amish.
Yeah, and like Shane Gillis, that's where he grew up.
That's crazy. Cracker of the year, funniest cracker of the year.
Yeah, dude, I'm actually going to see him on Friday. I'm so
That's
pumped.
awesome. Where's he going to be at?
The hockey arena, TPG
Oh,
Paves.
PBG.
So that'll be cool.
That makes sense. I don't know why I asked that as if there's another indoor arena in Pittsburgh.
Some people go to the Pitt basketball arena.
For Oakland. Well, yeah, Oakland Zoo runs like AEW wrestling and stuff like that too.
So
but I mean, the Shane Gillis is too famous for that, I think.
yeah, he has a full 360 stage, so none of it's tarped off.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I've seen
that's
some of
pretty
his
cool.
clips like where he doesn't have any background or anything, so I figured he'd probably be at PPG.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. But
That's awesome.
What was the
Oh,
reason?
I was
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
Pennsylvania
geography.
geography.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I live like 15 minutes west of the city, right by the airport.
Yeah. Literally
That's
by airport.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, but based on our church, like I was where our dads grew up pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
I had to be in the South Side for our, cultural tambourines and practices on Sundays after church. And our church was the same church that your grandfather
Yeah.
was at. So yeah, I spent most of my weekends. My grandparents still lived in Baldwin Whitehall, so I spent most of my weekends, where they grew up.
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, whereas a lot of my friends actually like, I'm sure you're familiar with this too, with you guys being like a little outside the city. Like some people are more comfortable in the city, and some people like think
Yeah.
it's like a whole different ball game once you like grow up in the suburbs or never really lived in it. So
Yeah.
I would always be the one of my friends that like if we were going downtown, and this was like early in high school when we first got our license, but I would like drive down there because it wasn't like I was like trying to be cool. I just knew
You knew you were going.
all the areas. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you drove us to Buccos games when you were like 16.
Yeah. So,
Not
I
that
mean,
not that PNC is like hard to get to. It's like pretty close once you get out of the tunnel, but
yeah.
it's
But
like
so I guess good.
no, I was saying it's just like you know where you're going because of growing up there.
Yeah. So I'm definitely proud of being from Pittsburgh, but I definitely am a fan of the region too. Like I always would tell people that told me they were from Chicago that I had family out there, and then they'd ask where. And this is when I was like young, and I would say, "Oh, Cherville, Maryville, Crown Point,"
Yeah,
and they'd be like, "Oh, that's not Chicago." And I'm like,
no.
"Okay, well, it is because like
Yeah, so
it's
like
Chicago to me."
where I live is weird because everything like the news is Chicago. Everybody's sports teams are Chicago. Like nobody here likes the Colts or like the Pacers or anything. Um, the time zone is Chicago. And if you leave I mean, you've driven out here a billion times. If you leave my subdivision and you drive 5 minutes down the road, you pick up the highway to go to Chicago. Everybody who lives here works there.
Yeah,
It's just people, you pay less. It's more expensive to live in Illinois in
yeah,
general.
it's what everyone's done.
And yeah,
Like,
it's
and
forever.
I think a lot of the people from the churches there came from like your church is from the harbor, they
Yeah.
say, and
Hmm.
then the other one's South Chicago. So like
Yeah.
the people migrated from those areas, so they were from Chicago at one
Yeah.
point.
Pretty much. I mean, the thing is, Chicago's a weird place. I worked there for quite a while and I had fun, but like, I don't think it's just kind of its own thing, like you got to be
Yeah,
like want to be a part of that. And I don't have much desire to be like part of it. I like going to, you know, games and concerts and stuff, but like, it's just its own, like being in the city is just totally different.
yeah, it's a lot bigger than Pittsburgh. I mean, like 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
So
Pittsburgh's
people,
cool though, it has boroughs.
yeah, and people think sometimes, I guess, because of the sports teams, that it is this like big place, but it's much more spread out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like a lot of the places in the city are actual houses versus like living in sky rises. That's really not a thing. So, like you said, like, yeah, there's little like neighborhoods and pockets with like maybe apartment buildings, but not like sky rises and, things like that. So,
Yeah, and like geography wise, it's not the same because or I should say like just the way the land is, like Pittsburgh's a lot of hills, but like the Midwest is so flat. But generally speaking, if you want those older houses, you got to go up like the north side of Chicago, like Wrigleyville. There's like it's old like that, but it's not like downtown is crazy.
yeah,
There's too much bullshit going on.
I hear you.
So, but no, Pittsburgh is, I mean, that's always been my favorite place to go. I think I like it because obviously family and we have a lot of good memories, but it's just its own vibe. Everything is, it's its own little kind of pocket of like the world.
Yeah, it is unique.
The language, the accent, the Pittsburghese.
if you meet someone with Pittsburgh somewhere else in the country, like it feels like they're like closer to you than I would say like my sister who lives in New York now, like doesn't really feel that connection with other New Yorkers as much.
Right.
So like she still looks at herself as a Pittsburgher, even though she likes that lifestyle. But yeah, I hear that. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool just that my family ended up here too, and that's how we kind of got together. Because, like, so on my mom's side, and I'm sure some of your friends that will watch this from the region are familiar with some Macedonian people or the Masses. So my mom's side's Macedonian, and my grandma came here on my mom's side when she was 16. Um, Went back there for an arranged marriage, the old school way.
Yeah.
And then actually it ended up not working out. So she remarried the guy who I called my grandpa, and he was
All time.
he was a professional or like a country club professional. Played in a couple U.S. Opens and was a really, really cool dude. Was in World War II, and he was a cool dude. But so on that side, I'm 50% or she's 100% Macedonian. And then on my dad's side, his grandfather came. So like early 1900s. But his grandfather was one of the guys that helped found the church in the South Side.
Oh,
So
really?
that was really cool.
I didn't know
and that's
that.
who my dad was named after. And then his dad owned a bunch of bars and was like kind of
I knew that.
crazy guy. But so they lived in the South Side because he was in the bar industry then still. And yeah, my dad said since he can remember, he was an altar boy with your dad at church.
They got kicked out of altar boy camp.
Yeah. Well, that was when they were older and delinquents. But yeah, like as a little kid, my dad's dad wasn't around a lot. So he looked up to your grandfather as his dad. And so they kind of grew up as brothers. And yeah, like Komavi means, it's like your best man in your wedding, but also the godfather to your children. So it's like more than a best man. And like, that's who we are. And then it extends to the entire family. So,
But ours is very cool because it's like our parents were for each other's weddings for both of them. And then my parents were for you and your sister, and then your parents for me and Steve. So it goes we're like 100%. It's really hard to explain to people outside of our culture how that works.
yeah.
But it's almost like you grow up, like, it's like having a cousin or something, but like one that's around all the time, or like your immediate family, like
Yeah, it's a family that's chosen is
Yeah.
the way my mom says it. I think that's a really good way to put it because like
Worked out for us.
it's not like everyone in the world has family problems and like you don't
Yeah.
choose your family, so you have to work that out. But like you choose your best friend, and then that's kind of cool that then
Yeah.
they become family. So
When our dads talk, even to this day, with my dad struggling, like they talk all the time, and like they have been close for so many years, even with distance. And it's crazy because they didn't have this technology like how you and Steve and I have like a group chat or FaceTime, or like we were doing this. You guys could play Xbox or PlayStation, but like they didn't have any of that.
yeah,
So it's kind of crazy because like I have a picture of my dad, and it had to be either on Christmas or something like that because the Christmas tree's up. It's like it's from the 90s, and he's on like a cordless 90s phone with your dad, and he's doing a shot. And I'm just like, that's
classic.
so funny because there's no FaceTime.
Or a hook, as they would call it in
Yeah.
the South Side.
Oh yeah, hook. Well, that's what my dad would tell people, you got to come in for a hook, and then he'd say, where are you going? You didn't walk in here on one leg. Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I have memories with us together as early as I can remember, man.
I have pictures in this box next to me I found from when you and Steve were like 1 or 2 years old.
Yeah. And yeah, the cool thing was we always did something fun. Most of the time we did something involving, sports in one way or another, and the
Sure.
Steelers or Pirates or Penguins. But we also went to WWE. That was awesome. I'll
That
never
was
forget
cool.
that.
That was like a TV Raw. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Kennywood.
Amusement parks, went to the Ed DeBevick's
Oh, that was so
in
weird.
Chicago.
That was so weird. I was thinking about that. So we were all together in Chicago the weekend of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But why? I don't know why we did that.
Um,
I mean, that was great, but I'm like trying to think. I know your sister and my mom and
maybe for Steve's birthday,
maybe your sister and my
because it's normally
mom.
like the first week or second week of February.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Your sister and my mom and your mom all did something, and I remember we went to ESPN Zone when that was
Yeah.
open, and our dad sat at the bar and just kept giving us money to play the different games.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
sick.
sweet. ESPN Zen. That
I
was
re-
back before like when kids actually would want to just like go to places and run around instead of sitting like on.
and we were there in like the fucking middle of the day, so there's like nobody there. That was so cool. The only thing that sucks about that is our moms were not at that, so there's like no pictures from that.
Yeah, I think they went to the like American Girl doll
Yeah,
store with my
something for
sister or something.
something your sister
She
wanted to
was like
do.
5 or 6 years old. But
But it's so funny because I was just talking to somebody about this, about you, me, and Steve. I go, we were all together for a whole weekend up to the Super Bowl, and we all have. It's like the one day, like you got the Ben jersey, and Steve's in the bus, and I got like Palomalu, and then the next day, someone's got like Fast Willie, someone else is wearing Heinz Ward. Like we had the whole fucking
oh yeah,
roster.
because we had to show it off, dude.
That was such a great team too.
And then they actually fricking did it. And then I remember calling you guys immediately.
Yeah. Oh, I remember we were all thinking about going to Detroit,
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were.
and our moms were like not into that idea.
That would have been sweet.
Oh, oh my God, I know. And the thing too is like back then, I'm sure it was still expensive, but nowadays the Super Bowl is like even crazier. But
What was your
that was
first like Steelers memory? I know we're done with like this year's Steelers, but like what was your first
So I'll
actual
preface it with this. Before I go back that far, I remember every season from 2001 on. Okay. So, because that I was such a Cordell guy. But my earliest memory of the Steelers, unfortunately, I don't remember the Super Bowl, or maybe fortunately, where they lost to the Cowboys. I was like 3. But I remember like going to my dad belonged to this club, the Sportsman's Club, and it was a private like bar. You had to be a member, and you had to like to be a member, you had to be invited by other members, and 2 people had to sign off. It was like kind of private.
Yeah.
But they would let my dad bring me with for Steeler games as long as I didn't sit at the bar. We had to sit at a table. So
Well,
I
excuse me.
remember, oh, you're good. So like I remember being there for games with him when they weren't televised, and it would be like this is like 90s Cowher teams, like obviously pre Ben, but like pre Tommy Maddox,
Yeah.
like this is like really like they were good but kind of not that great. And I don't remember, I didn't really know the game. I was like 5 or 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but like I remember being so fucking proud because my dad would have a group of guys he'd sit with who were all guys who got transferred because of the mill to Gary. So they're all from Pittsburgh. Like one guy who I used to call, I still talk to him sometimes, I used to call him Uncle Terry. He would go back and bring me Aliquippa Quips merch. Like I had
Go
like,
quit.
and I was like little. I had like a hood, like a sweatshirt, like a crew neck, and like a hat. And so like I would sit with these guys, and I just remember like most of the time nobody brought their kids, so I just remember being so damn proud. So that way when I'd go to school and stuff, like that's what made me like super like, not like I wouldn't talk shit to people, but I was like proud to wear my Steelers gear. Like I had
Oh, heck yeah.
jerseys and T-shirts and backpacks and shit. Because like everybody liked the Bears, or they would wear like whoever was popular at the time. So like that's kind of just like what I remember. And then from '01 on, I could tell you like I was older. I remember it all.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say
Did you go to Three Rivers?
Yeah, I did, but I don't really remember.
Okay.
I would have been like 3 or 4. The first real memory I have is the playoff game with Fumatuma Afala
Oh, the Cleveland one
against the Browns.
when we came back. That was '02.
Yeah, so I would have been 6 or 7. I remember that. Like I was around for the games before that, but I just don't remember. And then the next season where Maddox was supposed to be the guy and then got hurt.
We got
Actually, that would have been 2 seasons.
yeah.
6 and 11. They had Amos Zaraway.
Yeah.
Still had Plexico, Hines.
Yeah, the boss.
Yeah, they did go 6-11 that one
Yeah,
year.
they went 6-11. That got them the Ben pick at 11 in '04. And then in '04, they also, it was weird. They brought in Deuce. And
You
then,
could do this.
you know what the funniest shit was '05? I got a couple of things, not to cut you off, but to piggyback on that. '02, after the Browns game, they played the Titans. And I went to this club with my dad, and my Aunt Tashi came. And we sat there, and it was packed. Half Steelers, half Titans fans, like probably 100 people. And I remember they missed the field goal, and we were going crazy, and then they threw a fucking flag. And they got to re-kick, and everyone was pissed. And I just remember my dad's friend just consoling me. He just goes, "Don't worry, kid. Watch Pitt hoops." And I was like, "All right, I got you." But the '05 season, Deuce was in sweatpants the whole effing year, basically. And
The deuce is loose.
yeah, and the bus was hurt to start the year. So I remember I was at the club again with my dad. I forget who they opened against, maybe the Texans or something. And we're like, who the hell is this Willie Parker guy who's running for like 130 yards? And everybody was losing their ass over him.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. I forgot about Fast
Undrafted.
Willie.
And we were like, who the fuck is this guy? And all these guys were going crazy. I remember these older guys were screaming for him.
They were an awesome Thunder and Lightning, man. Him and the bus.
The bus was the best.
Heath.
Oh, man.
They
Yeah,
just had some dogs, dude.
Heath
James
came in
Farrier.
'05. Oh, Farrier's underrated. I don't think people respect him enough. But before Heath, was it Jeremy Tooman? I think was
Dude,
the tight
does
end.
this screen share work on this?
I don't know.
I got to show you my favorite player from that era. And I got to see if I can find a picture. Yes.
Hopefully it's Jeff Reed.
Yeah.
He was wild too.
Sorry. I got it here.
Oh, Casey Hampton.
Now that's a nose tackle right there, dude.
Yeah, that's a big boy. He's like real skinny now.
I know. It's a shame. Well,
It's
actually,
kinda-
no, it's probably not. He needed that.
He was like, even for like a nose tackle,
Oh.
I mean,
420. Plays it.
he was putting the red eyes down, you know. You gotta admit, you gotta think though too, like when
Imagine
they were
how much protein he can see
oh,
on a weekly basis.
those guys too, when they were winning, because they were in the Super Bowl, AFC Championship all the time, they were probably partying their ass off in Southside.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's when Southside started getting like to be like a party place.
Yeah.
So I remember we came down like, I don't remember what year because like, I mean, I came almost every year, you know, sometimes 3 or 4 times. My dad would just one year being like, what the hell happened to Southside?
Yeah, it's pretty dead these days. There was some violence down there recently. But yeah, my Macedonian cousin, Ilcho and Alita's son,
Yeah.
he grew up, well, he's like 38, so he was in college around that time and was down there a lot. And yeah, he had some stories about Ben and
Oh, I
some of
bet.
the other guys. Ben partied hard, dude.
I mean, Ben.
He's like a Reformed Christian now, which is good. But
somebody talked about Ben I was at work or somewhere, and they're talking about his bike crash. I'm like, oh, I can show you where that was at. I've been there.
yeah,
Crazy.
dude, he's lucky he didn't die from that.
I know. Could you imagine?
He was a knucklehead.
He probably cut a few years off his career.
For sure.
But Casey Hampton's a good pick. I'm glad that he's in better shape nowadays for his own health. But man, was he a bad dude?
Dude, he would just. And then they had Chris Hoke,
Oh,
the baddest Mormon in town,
And Aaron
coming out behind him.
Aaron Smith.
My dad built a little grocery store for Chris Hoke in
Really?
Burgettstown. Yeah,
That's random.
yeah.
That's so weird. Did he sign some shit for him?
I think I might have. I'll have to ask him. I might have had something. I was like, I don't want Chris Hoke, dude. He's the
Hoke.
backup nose tackle.
Hey, I mean,
I didn't respect it as a kid. You know, I was.
yeah. What
Greedy.
about this is a little later because he was like on the bench until later, but I love Kiesel too.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah, they had a good BYU nose tackle stretch there, man.
he
They're
sure
just
did.
churning out some Mormon sluggers in the middle
Hey,
of the defense.
whatever you got to do to win games, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, shit, we had
Glad.
some. That's the fun thing though, is like we don't have to keep talking about the Steelers in particular, but like having these memories of these guys. It's like I'm never gonna be friends with those guys, but us laughing, having these memories of this guy doing this in a game. Like I think it was Tampa Bay. Kiesel had like a pick six. Like
Oh
how the hell
yeah.
did Kiesel have a pick six?
I think he had a lot of interceptions, actually, if my memory serves me right.
He was just a beast. But Dick LeBeau, man.
Palomalu.
Oh, he's the best ever. From our generation though, 43 is the best. Him and Ben. I mean, he was
Nothing better.
unbelievable. And it's crazy because he's out there and like my dad started noticing, I guess, like I don't know if he turned Orthodox before he became a pro or not.
He married a Greek Orthodox.
I know that, but he converted.
Yeah.
And then he's like out there and he's drilling dudes and then he's crossing himself on TV right after. And my dad was like freaking out.
I was actually one of the toughest, like, dude, that's so cold. You just put someone in the turf and then just bless yourself.
Yeah. And he was
That's so tough.
he was unbelievable. I mean, I don't think people realize how hard of a hitter he was because they just talk about like his picks and stuff.
Yeah, that's what screwed him up, actually. He was injured a lot because he would hit so hard and he didn't have the inertia to back it up. He was only like 5'10".
Yeah, he was
Like
fast and
Ed Reed was a big dude.
right.
And when he hit, like, he was cool. But when Palomalu would hit down on someone, like, he would get shook up, but he would still deliver the pain.
I remember, like, I want to say, I don't know if it must have been his rookie year or second year, but they were playing the Bengals and Palmer was like his roommate and he like drilled Palmer and like the announcers were like, damn, like that's kind of like crazy that these guys are roommates and he hit him that effing hard.
And then
he
had a crazy pick six that year,
Mhm.
too, his rookie year off him.
Yeah, that was, I think, in Cincinnati, if I remember correctly. It's
My
hard.
favorite.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say my last thing on Palomalu. And then I do want to talk about music a little with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we do have a family member that just released some heat. So,
Oh, yeah.
But favorite Palomalu memory, I want to say it was AB's rookie year. So 08. They're playing the Titans. I could be wrong. I think it was the one where AB had the kickoff return for a touchdown. But he jumped over the center and sacked. I don't even remember. Maybe Vince Young. I don't know.
I think it was Vince.
Some jamoke for a safety.
No, I remember that they were on the end zone towards the open side of the stadium.
Yeah.
And Troy counted this. He got the snap count and because do you remember when we were at the Steelers Baltimore game? He tried to do that and he got flagged.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that in person, going, "Oh my god, if he pulled that off!"
Dude, he was just one of the smartest players ever.
That the craziest one, and then I'll just add one is the Chargers playoff game in the snow where he got the pick and he got his hand under it.
Oh yeah, legend.
Yeah, those were just great times. We could definitely move on to some music, I'm sure, because I would obviously like to have you on here more than once. We could dig into all kind of Pittsburgh related minutia that you and I can get into because there's so much of it, and I love I mean, we talk about it all the time, not on a podcast, obviously, but those are fun things to talk about. We could talk about a lot of different music. We could talk about Young Gnarly Sheen if you want.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been a Sheen head since his first release.
That was like 12 years ago.
AK-47, and you know that it's Russian.
Dude, Young Gnarly Sheen is like a crazy thing. So Steve, for anybody listening to this, they don't know, my brother his rap name is Young Gnarly Sheen. That's like one of his projects, and he just put out some new music you could check out on streaming. Paris Screens, the release. Steve started doing it like in high school, kind of as a joke. But
even that, which was more satirical in a sense, was well produced, and I could tell he could rap immediately as soon as he sent that out.
that's the thing is like he's definitely got like the timing to be a vocalist. It's like people
Yeah.
don't realize like you could sing, scream, rap, anything. You have to have like the right timing.
Yeah, like a cadence too, and like
Yeah, he has like a
knowing.
flow, a certain flow to it. But I've been in bands where like people have trouble, and counting time is so important, and no matter what instrument you play, but people don't realize like singing too.
Yeah. But yeah, this new project that he came out with, let me pull up my phone because I wrote down some of the lyrics. I mean, so it's a little different from his first release. It's definitely more like some East Coast, like
He's really into
lyrical.
Griselda. He likes Griselda gang shit, and like he's into a lot of. I mean, a lot of stuff he puts me on, I like a lot.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't want to waste too much time.
No, it's okay. Um, because like for me, I like to listen to a lot of different stuff because like if I'm playing a certain genre, I don't want to get burned out on it. So then I'll listen to something else. So he gets me. I mean, Steve gets me listening to Action Bronson all the time.
Dude, Action Bronson's a legend.
I saw him at a wrestling show. He's a big boy.
He's a big wrestling and food fan.
Yeah, he's
But
hilarious.
here's a lyric. Did you say that you were ordained the patron saint of the starving artist?
That's
Like
yeah.
that one, that that's just it describes a lot of people that are trying to make it in music, and like
hmm
he just put it into like a couple bars. And that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that line. I like he had the 87, the Sid reference.
Yeah, he did shout out Crosby.
I thought that was just a nice little shout because he's not doing a ton of like name dropping and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was
No,
a nice one.
it's kind of telling a story.
Yeah,
Clench the
it's more
Jesus piece,
poetic.
hope whatever's on the other side can salvage what is left of me.
Yeah, dude.
Eat
I don't have them
and
pulled up,
eat
but
gnarly sheen.
I mean, I think that they're really good. I think the thing about rap, it's like you can have rap where the lyrics aren't super deep and it could be really enjoyable. The beat's good, the flow's good. Because like I talk about lyrics all the time with people in a different context. People always tell me like, "Oh, this song's great because of the lyrics," but like if you don't like the genre, you're not going to care that the lyrics are good. So it has to sound good too. And
Yeah.
then there's music that sounds good, and the lyrics are kind of like whatever. They could be good or bad, but people still like it. So it's like to have it all in one package is not easy.
No. But I would always trend towards more of like trying to get the theme of what the artist is trying to put out, and like the lyrics I can I can relate to that a little
Yeah.
easier. I guess more so being a drummer, that like that's just kind of, I don't know, what I look for is lyrics that either get across the theme that the artist is trying to portray, or that tell a story, or something like that. Um like for example, in rap, like there's guys like Travis Scott and Playboy Cardi that are, people would call them mumble rappers, but I do understand why people appreciate the production there,
Sure.
and this just the sound that they're putting out. But like that's just not my thing.
hmm
So, and that's why, like you said, it's hard to get both unless you're really putting out like pop stuff. Which, I mean, if that's not your thing, then it's kind of
Yeah, and pop is kind of a different, and I'm not just being disrespectful or being a hater when I say this. Pop's kind of its own thing because it's such a most pop is such a collaborative effort in order to sell a product. Like you
yeah.
look at like it's nothing
Oh,
against the artist. Some of these are singers are amazing, but I was telling somebody I was explaining. I'm not going to say the artist because I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on them. I could tell you off screen. But I was telling somebody someone who's a little younger than me about this artist that they really like. I said that's great, but I was talking to somebody else about how the money works in that.
yeah,
And I was explaining how this artist doesn't write their own music. They just show up and perform the music. And they got kind of upset with me. And I said, "Oh, I'm not cutting them down. That's just how that type of music is in most cases. There are these head writers, there's like 20 producers because
yeah,
that's just how it is. Whereas like, Young Gnarly Sheen, he's in there, some of the beats he makes himself. Sometimes, his producer does it. They work together on that, gets the right vibe, and then he goes with his own lyrics, his own flow, and it's his art. It's his
Yeah.
art, you know? Of course, it's nice when people like your art, but like he's not making it to sell it. Whereas like pop music, there's a purpose behind that. It's like a machine.
Yeah. And like definitely, I mean, for someone that appreciates hip hop, that's like I definitely think I got the message he was trying to send
Yeah.
across as an artist where like, and that's why pop artists too, like you have to agree to do that. Like you could be an amazing singer or someone that could sell, I guess, be that commercial artist. And like, if you don't want to do that, then you're missing out on a lot of money, but you don't have to do that.
Right.
So that's where it kind of gets,
I think
interesting.
I think the rap though is interesting because like people group it all in together, but hip hop and rap, like there's like really commercial pop stuff, but then there's really good stuff happening that people aren't talking about because there's a lot of people making great music that it's just because the genre is popular in some cases, that doesn't mean everybody's well known. Like you got to go find good shit.
Yeah.
You're always showing me stuff. Steve is, I mean, not that he's obviously a huge artist, but me and Steve have been on Future big time. Like that kind of stuff. Steve, one of our friends said that Future's like Beyonce for men. And I was like, honestly, that's true. It's like my power music.
Yeah, it's powerful. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the picture of Michael Phelps before he won like his 25th gold medal and he looks like he's about to explode. I asked him what
Probably.
he was listening to and he was
Future.
listening to Future.
Yeah, I think Max,
Stick Tough.
didn't I send you a Max Crosby one too?
Oh yeah, he said he thinks he's the best art. Yeah, I mean that might be a little hyperbolic.
Yeah, that's
Saying
kind
he's
of
the
like,
best ever, but
he's like,
to some people, I mean that's fine. That's an opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing though too is it's important to listen to different artists. Like there are people who are like, for example, people hate on Taylor Swift. I don't care one way or the other. But then there are people who will defend her, but they only listen to that. Like they don't listen to anything else. Like she's like become like a religious figure to people. And I'm like, hey, like that's fine if you like her music, but like also like it's important to like listen to other stuff too. There's lots of great music. It's not just like I love Blink. That's not the only it's not the only band I listen to.
Yeah, and like for me, I mean, before I could decide the music I wanted to listen to, I mainly grew up listening to like Motown, soul music with my dad.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much all he listened to when I was a kid. And then with my mom, I listened to like the Yugoslavian folk music.
It's kind of funny that that's the same for me.
And then, yeah, once I was able to decide, like, let's say second or third grade, and then like got an iPod shuffle, which was crazy.
iPods are so outdated now. Is it funny or what?
Yeah, it was like pop punk for me to start.
Yeah.
Like Blank, Bowling for Soup, stuff like that. And then I forget first rap song I think I really got into was Soul Survivor by Akon and Young Jeezy.
Young Jeezy.
And
you can find me on the block.
Yeah, from there on, I was just like, I had one buddy that his parents would let us watch MTV, like the Jams channel specifically, which was mainly hip hop. And like I saw so many Kanye, 50 Cent music videos on there in like third and fourth grade when I probably shouldn't have been. But I was enamored, dude. The culture, like everything about it, the style. I was a big football fan. They're all wearing the double XL powder blue LT jerseys.
Yeah.
Jerome
Didn't you
Bettis
get one of those out
jerseys.
there when you went to the game?
Dude, I was a huge LT fan actually.
He was awesome. Well, my thing is similar. Like my dad liked 70s music and Motown, but he also liked a little rock. My mom was listening to a lot of Serbian.
Yeah.
But like it's funny, like I was playing guitar. Actually, this month is 20 years I got my first guitar.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So like I was listening to a lot of rock because that's what you're playing. But like I was always hooping with my neighbors and they're all older than me and they're playing 50 Cent, a lot of Eminem, Jay-Z, like Kanye, whatever's popular. This is like 2001, 2002, 2003, like that era. And so like, and then TRL at that time was awesome because it was like you'd have like rappers and then you'd have pop artists and then like Blink-182 and like pop punk and then like Korn and like Limp
I remember
Bizkit.
Korn, yeah.
Yeah, and like Linkin Park, and then you'd have like the Foo Fighters. Like it had like every genre in that era. Like they showed everything. It was cool, Maybe that's why I like a lot of different stuff is because like I grew up and they'd be like, all right, here's like a 50 Cent video and it's him on the treadmill or whatever with Dr. Dre in the background. And then the next one's like a Bowling for Soup video.
Yeah.
And then whatever, whatever else. So I don't know. Like, I think you and Steve are very close in age, like a month. But like me and Steve are not far enough in age to where like we grew up in that era,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely appreciative that like I can listen to pretty much anything and find something I like.
Were you buying CDs growing up at all?
Yeah. Yeah. My first two CDs were Bowling for Soup, Not Drunk Enough to Dance. I think that's the album. And then Chingy, actually.
Oh, is it the one with him with the arch on it?
Yeah.
Those are both
St.
around
Louis
the same.
Arch. Right.
I had both of those CDs, and I remember that Chingy CD because Right There was on the NBA Live.
Yes, it was.
And like but it was like edited to be about basketball. It was super weird.
Yeah. But like even when I was 16, like I got an '08 Sentra as my first car.
So you had CDs.
And I went to Best Buy as soon as I got it and got Meek Mill CD, Blink CD.
Yeah.
And just some like, I think I got Coldplay maybe
dude,
too at the time.
The Meek Mill CD,
big.
I think it's the one he put out when he was in jail. It's like orange. The cover's orange with him on it. And it has Regular as like the first song. I've been listening to that CD, like that record on Spotify a lot.
The one with the handcuffs on it?
I think so.
Dreams
it's like
and Nightmares?
Yeah, that CD is hard as nails. I've been buying a lot of vinyl because we got like a record player.
Sweet.
Let me just show you real quick what I got for Christmas. It's sitting right here.
Okay.
So I've been trying to get every one of his records, so I got this one finally. I was missing.
Oh, man.
So
Rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, not the best Mac record, but I do like this one.
So tomorrow night, his new album that's coming out, they're doing a
Balloonerism.
Yeah, they're doing a
sorry,
like little movie at a couple movie theaters downtown. It's a like global release.
There's I saw people talking about that online.
But I was looking at tickets; they're like way too expensive, so I'm not going to go. But I'm very excited to see what this is like. I didn't even listen to the one single that they released from that track because I just want to listen to it all the way through.
I did the same thing, actually. It's funny you say that. I was going to listen to it, and I'm like, it's going to be a few more days. I want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're on
the same page. That's cool.
No, it's serious. Well, Mac is such like a great person to listen to his tapes or his albums front to back.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I have Faces on vinyl. I listen, and like, I'm so glad that they put that on Spotify a few years ago finally, because like Faces to me is like one of the best things he ever did.
Dude, I mean, I don't know. I really like his last two projects.
So yeah, I love Swimming a lot.
But even Kids, like...
Yeah, I have Kids on vinyl too. It's so fun.
Yeah, there's just, and Nike's on My Feet. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorite songs.
I feel like Mac's early stuff to me is really nostalgic because I'm the same age as him. And there's a lot of Pittsburgh references that I don't think people outside of Pittsburgh would get. Smiling like a Eden Park cookie, stuff like that.
Yeah. And Revis Take Me Shopping went up in New York.
Oh my God.
But he was my idol, dude. That's why I still wear snapbacks and you're wearing one. I mean, like,
yeah, I think that Mac is the number one artist that I wish I was able to see that I didn't see. I know you got to see him.
Yeah.
I just think that he defies the genre. It's just he's a bigger artist than the genre.
Yeah, I think he was just getting, like, he wasn't even close. He kind of started out just putting out some little, like, frat boy rap that was fun. And then he progressed and became more of an artist and was just hitting his peak. And I'm interested to see what this is like, but
yeah,
definitely gone too soon, man.
I know he inspires
me really bad.
I know. And he inspires me to like work and make songs, just keep putting in the work. Because like you said, like, think about this, like Kids is like 2010. 4 years from Kids, he's already doing Faces, which is like crazy.
Completely different. Yeah.
4 years later, he's doing Swimming, which I think is one of my favorite albums ever. I mean, that's an unbelievable record. And I love songs like Ladders. You know what I mean? Like the instrumentation.
Yeah.
And he has like kind of these sing-along parts, and then he goes into like a rap part and he's just spitting it, and it's just like This dude gets it.
Cinderella.
Oh, dude. This whole man, it makes me sad, but I'm happy we have the music. Like that's what's really important is like that we can all enjoy that together. We'll have to, you know what, when we both listen to Balloonerism, we'll have to call each other afterwards.
Yeah, do a little review.
Yeah, I just want to, I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's exciting getting new Mac Miller.
I'm very pumped.
And,
It's actually, but I'm also sad because that's it. Like, this is it. This is all we
yeah.
had left. So,
Yeah, so was this like, I know he was supposed to do like a trilogy type thing where it was like swimming and then circles and then like a rap, like a harder rap album. Is that what this was supposed to be, or is this just what was left over?
that I don't know. I believe it's what was, it was supposed to be, most of it was supposed to be like a single project. I don't know if it was part of a trilogy or not.
Okay, because I know like I had read something where I don't know if, like who said it, Rick Rubin or somebody, but or whoever he was working, one of the producers, but they're saying how swimming was kind of like this R&B influence thing, and then it gets even more like that for circles, and then the third one was supposed to just be like a fucking rap, like he was gonna go crazy. So
Well, that would be cool either way.
yeah,
So, excuse me.
yeah, bless you. Nazdravia.
Nice driveway.
Yeah, nice driveway. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, also, I know we're a little over an hour. I don't want to keep you too late, but how's the drum kit going?
Yeah, so I got this Donner drum kit. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that brand. It's kind of like a starter kit for now. But it's got everything I need. I can put in the sheet music that I want to read if I want to go old school like that. I can listen to anything and drum to it. So I've
That's
been
sick.
finding some songs on YouTube that don't have the drums in it, or
Oh,
ones
cool.
that do, and then just trying to listen to it and copy that. But basically, my story with drumming, real quick, because it's not that crazy, is when I was like 6 or 7, I started getting drum lessons from a very old but very nice man. He was like 78 when he started teaching me, and he taught me for the next 10 years
Oh,
until he
wow.
passed away, and could still drum until like his last week.
That's crazy.
And he basically taught me how to read sheet music, drum, which obviously doesn't have the scale.
No, but it's still like it's you like quarter notes, everything like that. 16th learning, that's time, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely found out that I did have rhythm, and so I kept doing it. And then just learned like rock and jazz pretty much from there on, classic stuff. Because yeah, that's what he was into, and so that's what I did. Got into the drum line my freshman year. I did band in school for a little, but like drumline was what I really wanted to do after watching Nick Cannon in Drumline. Honestly, I just love that movie.
Shout out Mariah Carey.
I still like, yeah, shout out her. But I still watch like when the HBCUs play football. I'll like look up their halftime shows on YouTube. I find that so entertaining, and they're very talented, man.
A lot of my friends that I grew up playing in bands with that were great drummers, they were all in Drumline, like 4 of them.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a great place, like for bands, especially like in
Travis
rock
Barker
and, like,
was.
metal. Yeah, that's a great place to find a drummer, because those kids are so skilled, man, and they love doing it. Clearly, if they're able to do that. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, I joined the golf team then, and so I couldn't do both at the same time. But
I was
really
gonna say, like,
wish I
that's a hard thing to balance.
yeah, and I wanted to go to the football games still, so like they weren't going to let me go without being able to do the rehearsals and all that. And anyways, so I kind of quit drumming around like 15 or 16 altogether. Sold my drum set. I had a pretty nice Pearl, but yeah, just kind of guess you guys have inspired me a little with how much music you've put out, and
I
you
appreciate
just
it.
continue to do it. And I love music, so just something, instead of just watching TV or doing something like that, I want to keep adding skills, like I said with the tools earlier, and that's kind of like my goal for this year, I guess. And I hope everyone can, out there can learn some new stuff this year, and
Yeah.
just find stuff that makes them happy that they can get better at.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I just want to add real quick, I remember kind of leaving obviously the golf, you're a very good golfer, and golf team led you into career paths and a lot of different things. So it's probably a good move at the time. But I remember quitting playing sports to do music. It was kind of the opposite
Mm-hmm.
because we were like in high school, we started playing shows and we are going out of town and recording and stuff like that. And it's hard to make those decisions.
Oh yeah.
So what's really great is now you can come back to it and be like, all right, I'm picking up where I left off. I'm shaking off the rust. I'm going to learn new stuff. And then at the same time, like you're going to play a lot of golf. So it's really cool. Like you said, it's just kind of like, all right, I'm just for bringing this back. It's not gone.
Yeah. And my goal is to play with you guys at some point.
Yeah, let's do it. We got to be Gnarly Sheen's band.
Heck yeah.
Because Ben will be the DJ, and then but you'll have real drums, and I'll play like the leads.
Yeah, once I get my shit together, I'm gonna get a real set.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to like go spend. Nice drum kits are expensive as hell.
Yeah, but the nice thing about it is, I like don't have to bother anyone around me. That these headphones are pretty good, and
oh yeah,
just put them in, and I did get a drum amp, so I can.
You can jam if you need to.
I can jam if I need to. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really great. I was actually looking into getting one of those for my house because I wanted to buy a drum set for the practice space. And
yeah, dude, those e-kits, man. The nice thing about it, mine folds up into like 3 pieces.
Yeah,
and it can fit in the back seat of a car pretty easily. And then like all the plugs are. I mean, I put it together in like 15 minutes with a screwdriver. So.
No, I get it. It's just real acoustic kits are beautiful and they sound great when they're tuned up right, but they are a pain in the ass in every other regard.
Yeah.
I get it. That's awesome though. I'm really happy that you got that because that makes me happy that you're enjoying playing the drums,
Yeah. And yeah, hopefully that's just the start. Like I've always wanted to learn bass guitar too. So
any help you need in guitar stuff, I got you.
I know you guys you're really good. So
no, I'm not, I appreciate it, but I'm just saying if you need anything, like, you got better rhythm than I do.
We'll have to see. We'll have to jam out and see.
All my drums that I write are programmed because I can't, it's like doing this shit where I can't, my foot doesn't want to.
That's hard, dude.
Like I know what the drum beats need to be and I know where the accents need to be. And like when I'm writing a song, I can hear it. But I can't, you got to practice. I don't have a kit. That's why I need to get one.
Yeah, especially when you have the kick and the hat going at the same time.
Yeah, and Stowaway does a lot of double bass stuff.
Your hands are crossed or you're like this.
Yeah.
It took me a while as a kid but that's why like anything you learn as a kid's easier. Like now trying to retrain myself, I lost a lot of progress, but
I'll just give you this. Keep finding songs you enjoy playing to because that's how I still get better from time to time. Like I'll still get a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to learn this solo I like or whatever. Because I have a bag of tricks that I use live and in the studio, but you don't want to lean on that forever,
Yep.
It's like you still want to stick to the fundamentals, have your little fun things here and there that are impressive, but you really got to keep just for your own mind to grow.
Yeah. I guess the last thing that I would say is everyone needs to follow Eggs Tyrone on Instagram. Because it's an excellent account. It mashes up dance moves with music. And Mel, I know we liked the same one. It's a pop punk song, and there's a guy named Michael Victors.
It's a Newfound Glory, My Friends Over You one.
Yeah, My Friends Over You.
Because My Friends Over You, I'll say it's they're very influenced by East Coast hardcore. So that has like a hardcore backbeat. It's like da 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 da, and then the guys the da na 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 over the beat. So it's very like they do that East Coast shit. So like when those dudes it's like 6 dudes dancing to it. Everybody follow this account. That shit's fucking. Look, if you're having a bad day or you're at work or you're bored, it'll put a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's a great.
So that's a song I've been, like you said, just finding stuff you like to play. That's been fun for me to try to learn. So
maybe I'll send you a Spotify playlist of some stuff you can sort through and see if you like any of them.
That'd be sweet. Please do.
Anything that you want to toss out there, like if you want anybody to follow you or anything like that online?
Yeah, I mean, I would my buddy Jiggy Putts, with our golf lifestyle brand Putts. It's at Putts Club on Instagram. He just sells some lifestyle stuff, hats, beanies, retro polos. He does a lot of cool stuff with that. His logo is a skunk with putt spelled on it. There's a couple guys on tour, Hayden Buckley on the PGA Tour that's wearing his hat, and they
That's
noticed
sick.
it on ESPN. They're like, "What is this?" So it's cool that little guy from Pittsburgh is, making his name in the golf lifestyle industry and trying to make it more accessible to people. So
I'll have to get a 90s polo because I wear so many modern golf shirts to work that I don't want to wear them on the course anymore.
yeah, he's got the 90. He's a 90s kid. He's got that
Like the
pretty down.
crazy. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hell yeah.
just
All right.
at Jiggy Putts. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll plug that in the comment section.
Yeah, and if
The
anyone wants to
description.
follow me, I mean, you'll see videos of me golfing, fixing up a golf course, maybe building houses. So
Doing a lot of drumming. Maybe some
yeah,
drums.
yeah, I might be posting some drum stuff. That won't be coming anytime soon. I need to get dialed in, but
That's okay. All right. Well, hey, to my cum, Mirce, Mo, my brother, I love you. Thank you for doing this. I had a great time. I think that's a really good place to leave us off because we hit a lot of fun things, and I want to do this again if you're down sometime.
yeah, I love you too, man. All love
right.
and the Serbs are
Absolutely.
out, bro. This
Yes,
was
we
great.
are. Absolutely.
All right.